Previously on the Crenshaw Corner.
Run, Nathan.
I did so.
And she would peel
Oh my God.
that plastic off
you
that
done,
frozen
bruh?
block of Franks. And she would take that frozen block of Franks and she would put it on a cookie sheet and she would slide it in the oven that she had preheated to 375. And she would let them frozen Franks bake until they fall apart.
Because you know why?
And then she would say, "Baby, here's dinner."
No. But
And
no,
the crate, I ain't done. I ain't not done. And then, family, she wouldn't even have the common courtesy and the decency
Are you done, bruh?
to purchase hot dog rolls. She would get the white
Sliced
bread.
Sliced bread. It's always
The
better with sliced bread.
white bread.
It's better with sliced bread.
And throw my Franks
Throw
on
your
the
Franks.
white bread and say, "Here is your dinner." Well, hello there, family.
What's up? What's up?
I didn't see you there.
What's going on?
And welcome back to another edition of the Crenshaw Corner. I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
Yeah, that's me. That would be me.
The apple of my eye.
I am the apple.
The wind beneath my wings.
Shh. That was a quick one. That was a quick one.
The rib. I'm not even going. We just going to fly over that one.
Okay, go ahead.
The rib that completes me.
He's completed, y'all. He's completed. Complete it.
See, I can't with you.
What? Okay, but let me ask you a question. What was wrong with?
Huh?
I did a short wind.
You did, but
Beneath my
but
wings.
once again, the wind sounded like a dying bird. It
No,
sounded
I
like
said whoosh. That was like.
But it was like the bird had came and somebody just shot it out the air.
No, it's like shh, it was moving fast.
I'm just
like
saying.
an eagle. Okay,
The Daphne to my Fred.
Daphne and Fred.
Come on, seriously, you. First of all, you were 13 when this first started, so
Don't do
you
that.
should know
Don't do that.
this easily.
Daphne and Fred.
Daphne and Fred. Come on, man.
I don't know these people.
Come on, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
No.
Come on, dog. He wore the ascot. He made the ascot famous.
No.
His friend was high every day, and it was okay.
Who was that, baby?
They eat Scooby snacks, man. Scooby Doo.
Okay, baby. Why would I know that?
Seriously, how don't you know
'Cause
Daphne and Fred and Velma and Scooby and Shaggy?
I wouldn't watch that.
You were 13 when the show first
wouldn't
started.
watch that,
It
baby.
came out in 1953. You was 13.
I will fight you.
Don't do that. We
Yeah.
Christians. Don't fight.
I will fight you. No,
What's up?
I didn't watch that.
Seriously?
No.
Like none?
No, seriously.
Like not one episode?
Not one
You've
episode.
never watched Scooby Doo in the
I've
game?
never. I know what they look like. I know the van. I know what one got glasses. I know
That's Velma.
the little dog.
Jinkies.
And I know.
We don't talk about the little dog. We don't talk about the little dog.
Okay, don't.
Scrappy Doo. We don't talk about Scrappy Doo.
Okay.
We don't do that.
Is Scrappy?
Scrappy was the nephew.
Okay.
Scrappy was the Oliver of Scooby Doo.
Okay.
You know? Do you understand that reference? The Oliver of Scooby Doo.
He disappeared.
Oh Lord, how do I do this to you?
Okay, was Oliver in Different Strokes? Okay, okay, wait, hold it. Okay, no. I know little
Does it
cousin.
sound like Oliver was in
Okay,
Different Strokes?
Brady Bunch.
Yes.
Okay, Brady Bunch.
Yes.
See, come on, I be thinking.
We've had this conversation before.
We've never had a conversation about Oliver.
We have.
Maybe when?
It's the Oliver effect. What happens with a show when it's run its course? What they do is
Okay.
that they will bring in like a little kid or animal to try to reinvigorate the show,
Right.
And to try to bring new audiences to the show. It's called the
Right.
Oliver effect. They did it. Oliver was kind of the first one to really do it in a sitcom, and it bombed miserably because everybody hated Oliver.
Huh.
Like everybody wanted
Didn't he
to see
have like
Oliver.
the bowl haircut?
Exactly, the
See,
little
I know
fat face with the
Oliver.
glasses.
I know Oliver.
So, but he is the Scrappy
not
is,
Scooby.
but because Scrappy is the Oliver of Scooby Doo because everyone hated it.
Scooby? I
Because
didn't watch it.
I thought you were a scholar. I thought you knew things.
No.
But one small question:
Yes.
Are you going to tell the family your name?
Well, we were talking.
We are 32 minutes into
We
the
are
opening.
talking.
Are you going to tell the family
What's
your
going on,
name?
family? What is going on, guys? I am Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on,
Family,
y'all?
that is my wife. Family,
Yes,
family, that is my wife.
I am.
Family, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
We, as
come on
always, we just
now.
want to start the show with thank you for being here.
Grateful.
For our new listeners, We welcome you.
We love you.
However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's iHeartRadio.
Come on, you got it.
I ain't done it in a while, but I remember.
We've been off for a month.
It's been 6 years.
I've been wanting to see if you had that, but
I
go
still
ahead.
remember.
Go ahead.
Or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
We thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
And as always, for our returning listeners, you know how we feel about you.
Yo, we love you guys so much. First of all, thank you guys for holding on while we took a break in July. I don't know what we want to call it.
It was a hiatus.
See, the reason why I didn't know what to call it because I didn't know how to say that word.
Because you were going to say hyena. I know you was.
I didn't know how to say
You
the
was
word.
gonna say
the word
hyena.
again. Say the word.
Hiatus.
Guys, we took a hiatus.
There you
Sounds
go.
So
There you go.
intelligent. Y'all saw that?
We took one of those.
Yes, we did take one of those. And so we're back.
We are back.
In full effect.
Back and better than ever.
Yes.
I got to stop saying that before Tony Kornheiser sue me because that's kind of his catchphrase.
Is that his catchphrase?
It's kind of his catchphrase.
So what would we say?
I like what you just said. Say it again.
What did I say?
You don't even remember what you just said.
What'd I say?
See?
What'd I say?
I don't. Actually, I don't know either.
So just carry on.
I kind of wasn't listening to you, but I was.
But it sounded good when
It
I
really
said
did.
Okay, cool. Carry
But
on.
with that being said, returning family members,
Yes.
thank you for being here.
And we on the socials.
I didn't get to that part yet.
Okay, carry on.
There's a method to this.
It's a method to the madness.
So for our returning family members, thank you so much for being here.
No,
You know
seriously, we love
how
you
we feel
guys.
about you. And for our new family members, please don't misunderstand.
Yes.
There is always a special place in our heart for you.
We love you too.
But there's just something about the returning family members who stick with the Crenshaw Corner. Even when my wife goes on off the rails and goes down rabbit
very
holes
interesting.
and talks out the side of her neck,
Wow.
y'all still love her.
Yeah.
And y'all love her through it, and we thank you for that.
Yes. Now here's the thing for the new people who are like, well, how can I be a part of that? Listen, all you gotta do is listen to the next episode, and guess what you are?
You're a returning
family member. And
It's that
we
easy.
love you. And we're not giving out, unfortunately, that was last season. We was giving out Grandma Macaroni and Cheese recipe. We're not going to do that. We're going to give her stuffing and sausage.
No, we're not going to do that. They don't deserve that.
Oh, wow.
They don't deserve that. They don't deserve the dressing.
See, that's the thing. See, that's a Southern thing because first of all, we call it stuffing. Why y'all call it dressing?
Because it dresses up everything that it touches. It's like the top hat. You know, you you're suited and booted. You got the black suit on and you're looking good. Your gaiters are shined up. But once you put that top hat on and dress up the whole see, that's what it is. That's what the dressing do.
See, but this is the thing. I'm so
Talk to
glad
me.
we got family members that's going to be with us today because I got to ask them this question. Carry on.
Okay,
carry
cool.
on, Carry on. I got
And
a
as always,
question.
family, welcome to the cookout.
Yes.
Make sure you bring the aluminum foil so you can what back.
Take something with you,
So you
guys.
can take something with you.
Aha moment. I need you to fold it up when you get home later. Be like, you know what? Aha. Open it back up and see what we said. Yeah.
There you go.
It's an aha moment.
And then as my wife had kind of put in the wrong place, but also we consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on the TikTok. We're on the TikTok.
Ooh, Lord.
And then we're also on YouTube.
Yeah.
So the Crenshaw Corner, you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you try to find us on Twitter, we don't tweet.
We don't tweet.
Don't look
y'all.
there.
Don't look there.
We ain't do that. We was lying to you when we said Twitter.
Yeah,
we don't tweet.
We don't do it anymore.
We don't do that.
We don't tweet.
And then as always,
Yes.
our email address, which is thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
I mean, I know we took a break, baby, but you don't remember nothing.
The Crenshaw Corner
The Crenshaw Corner
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
So family,
Hey.
we are so excited.
Yes.
We promised that we would, in this season of the Crenshaw Corner, we would bring forth some wonderful guests.
We did.
And that's what we have before you today. Family, to be honest, I am actually really excited to sit down and talk to this couple. This is a couple that we've known close to a decade.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah, close to a decade.
Yeah.
They are amazing in every way you think about the word amazing.
They are there.
And so we have the honor and the privilege to sit down and have a conversation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to the family. So whichever one of you wonderful people want to go first.
Aww.
As they point to each other and smile.
Ladies first.
Nobody said nothing, but they was like, you go, baby.
Ladies first. Come on, ladies first.
I'm Renee Badolato, and gosh, I've known you guys since 2010.
Yeah. So it's over a decade.
Oh, my goodness, it is.
If my simple math is correct, that's 12 years.
Ooh.
Time.
We've been a
Wow.
long time.
Yes, and my husband.
I am Jim Badolato, and we have also known you for 12 years, almost 13 actually. But yeah,
So crazy.
Yeah, it's been
Is
a
that
long time.
crazy?
Yeah,
Before
lots
we get
happened.
started, I have a question. Do y'all say stuffing or do y'all say dressing? What is happening here?
Stuffing.
Stuffing.
Jersey people.
Yeah.
Well, because you stuff it inside the bird.
Yeah.
It's turkey. We call the stuffing that you stuff inside.
Yeah, not the dressing, baby.
But once again, though, because it's two different, it's two
Right.
totally different dishes, though.
Yep.
So you have the one where like the stuffing where you put in the bird and you do it all nice and you put the little white things on the bird's feet and you do the nice little silver platter.
Where we doing
You got
that?
that.
Okay,
You
carry
got
on.
that. But then you got the pan of dressing where you cut it in squares and you put in celery and you put in the sausage. And see, it's two different dishes you're talking about.
Y'all just be dressing everything up. Okay.
Dressing.
Dress it. Okay.
Some things are Southern about me.
Yes.
And the way I eat is Southern.
And that's that. And that's that.
So family.
Back to the family.
Back to
Hey,
the family.
guys.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you guys been married? How did you meet? Tell us a little bit about
I will
yourself.
let my wife say that because if I say the wrong date, then I'm going to get smacked.
You're better with dates than
You
me.
can go ahead. I only needed one date, and that's what got me. Right?
There we go.
Ah,
There
look
we
at
go.
that. Look at that.
Go ahead.
But you got Renee. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we've been married 16 years.
Wow.
And let's see here. We met on Match.com.
Really?
Yes.
So the internet dating actually does work sometimes.
Before it was,
Before
what
it
it is
went all
now.
crazy.
It was,
Right,
like, it was
exactly.
kind of innocent back then. Not anymore.
Not now.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, we were kind of tired of just going out to the same old tired places,
Right.
bars
Right.
to meet. This was right after 9/11. So
Right.
Okay.
living in New Jersey, nobody wanted to go to Hoboken, go to the city to meet people anymore.
Right.
Right.
So we went, I call it online shopping. I think it was,
I'm so mad.
you put in exactly what you're looking for. That was exactly what I got.
Come on.
That was how we met. I think we met, you were maybe second person I talked to. We met
Say,
within a
it's
few
better if
days.
you say I'm the only one.
Right, only one.
Sounds
Make the
good.
story sound better.
Sounds like-
Yeah. Only one I agreed to talk to, I guess, on the phone, right? And then meet in person. And that was the end of it. As soon as we met, that was it.
Is that your story?
That is a story.
That is the story.
Sounds about right, Jim.
Yeah.
So, question for you. So, y'all, when y'all finally met, all right, what did you think of her?
I thought feisty.
Still is, but let's keep going.
I thought probably way too smart for me. She's about 4.5 years younger, so she was only 25 at the time. I was
Right.
29 and a half, almost 30.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought a lot of that. A lot of energy, a little spunky. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't tell me I can't do this. I'm going to prove you wrong type of stuff, which is why I liked it because that's how I was.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, she's still that same person.
Now,
Yes.
understand family, and certain part of the family will understand this reference. Renee is the Reed Richards of this group. She is Dr. Fantastic out this group. She is the smartest one at the table.
Yeah, yeah. And she's so humble about it.
So humble, always.
She knows the answer and be acting like she don't. Just let everybody else talk about it. And she in her mind, she going, that is so wrong. That is so wrong right now.
So I'm curious, Renee, what was your first impression? What was your first thought when you saw Jim? Not necessarily from the actual profile, but when you actually saw him in
Saw
person and
him.
met him for
Besides
the first
handsome.
time.
I mean, what, you know. Tall. No,
That was actually where I was going to go. Was, that's weird because he said he was 5'5", but we're looking eye to eye. And my heels were not that high.
I rounded up.
You just rounded up just a little bit.
I mean, it's all about marketing, right? You're on marketing.
It's all about marketing.
So my first thought was either I'm taller than I thought.
Right.
Are you
Shorter than he said. Exactly. Like, which one
That
is
would be
this?
it. That would be it.
Listen. So, okay, so how long before you guys was like, we walking down the aisle? Like,
But it's obvious that wasn't a deal breaker, though.
Oh,
Right.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because, well, we immediately saw eye to eye. So that was
really good. That was good.
Yeah. And as soon as he smiled, as soon as his face lit up,
Right.
I knew. I said, something in me knows you. Just we know each other somehow.
Yeah.
We
He
knew
does
we were
have a
connected.
wonderful smile.
He
I must
does.
to
He's
admit.
sweet.
And we knew right away. We connected. We had so much in common. And everything he had said he was on his profile is exactly who he was.
Wow.
And I appreciate that. I'm very forthright. He is as well. So I would say I got exactly what I was looking for. And then
On your
some.
online shopping.
Right.
In your cart.
Yeah.
Be careful
Yeah,
what you
right.
wish for. I mean, look what happens.
Okay, so here's the question. So how did you go? Okay, as far as walking down, how did you know? Okay, we know the connection when y'all first saw each other, but how did you like know, like, yeah, I want to marry him? Like, who knew first, actually?
Good question. Probably her. No, just kidding. It was probably mutual, although at the beginning, we probably dated 6 to 9 months, and then we kind of broke up because young lady over here was too young and running around thinking she was too cool for a relationship. And but then I just said, all right, I'll give her some space. And then who came running back? I mean, you know,
she come
that's what
running back?
happens.
Did she come running
She realized what she was missing.
That's exactly it.
That's what happened. She realized what she was missing.
I actually, because I had a
came running
job
back.
and I had a car. I mean, those are things that the guy she was dating didn't have. So
Those were those qualities when they was at the qualities. You got a car and a job. Yeah, I'm gonna go towards this direction. Yeah, this
I
is
was
feeling-
still young. He's all settled down, all serious, getting ready, start his life. And I'm like, come on, let's have fun. And he's like, nope, I'm serious. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And I'm like, just give me a minute, all right? I don't like
Let me
to be
catch
pushed.
up.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. So maybe, a couple of weeks where we just took a quick break. And then we came back together. That was it. And from then on out, we just knew. There was no being apart. We
Right.
were just so connected and so
Right.
aligned in so many ways. There was just, it just wasn't an option for us to be apart.
apart.
What happened within those 2 weeks that made you realize? I'm gonna go to Jim first. Within those 2 weeks, what made you realize that no, I can't be apart? We have to figure out a way to make this work.
it was holidays, right? It was around Christmas time. So it was kind of like, all right, now what? I'm by myself. I thought I'd be with somebody at this time,
Right.
or at least with Renee. But it was kind of a couple weeks of I'm being the tough guy. Like, I don't need her. I can go out and find somebody else and all that stuff.
Right.
But something was missing, and then we just knew, and we talked, and that was it. And that was it. I mean, she was done.
I wasn't feeling well.
Yes, that's true.
And that, as soon as that happened, and I came to that scary moment, I mean, I wasn't feeling well. I forget all the situation, but whatever it was, I was frightened. And he was the first person that I wanted to call.
Oh, wow.
And I just knew, and he just right away was there. I got you. Everything's going to be okay. And I just knew that that was who I wanted in my corner and next to me and going through life with. I just knew.
And knew that it was going to be okay.
And 16 years later, here we are.
Here we
Still doing
are.
the same thing.
Right.
Same thing. Whenever
Wow.
I take a hit, he's right there to pick me right back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 20 years. It was 02 we met, March of 02. So 20 years ago we met.
Oh, wow.
We married 16. So it's a 4-year kind of courtship, dating, and engagement, and then we got married.
Got
So that was
married.
it.
And so our children, how many children do we have?
4 boys.
The family, I'm going to need y'all to hear that. 4 boys. Now, one little mama in the batch. 4. The only little mama is Renee. She in the house controlling it. All 4 boys. Did you guys ever think that you wanted a girl, though?
No.
Jim, you always wanted boys?
Oh yeah, I'm the youngest of 4 boys. So
Got
my grandfather had 2 sons.
Okay.
My dad, one of them, and my uncle. My uncle had a son. My dad had 4 sons.
Right.
And I'm the youngest of the 4 sons. And I've got 4 sons, and there's no other kids, no other grandkids in our family.
Wait, whoa.
There's no girls anywhere.
Nowhere.
And we got 4 boys, and that's why our youngest is Jim or James Jr. because he's the 4th boy, and I'm the 4th boy. And that's my side. That's it.
4 boys. Oh my God. You didn't want a girl at all?
I mean, I wanted whatever God wanted to give me, but I thought for sure
Surely.
he'd throw one in there,
If I'm having 4, at least one of them should be a girl.
right?
Truly,
I mean,
Lord.
Even the NFL, they give you a bye week, something. But no,
Wasn't you? And now you so glad you got these 4 boys.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That last one was my miracle baby.
Do we ever
Yes.
think about trying for one more?
Oh, heck no.
This shop's closed. This shop
Heck
is
no.
closed.
The 4th one about
No
killed
way.
us all. So no. Literally.
When you're my age, you get another baby? No, thank you.
Yeah, but y'all so youthful and young.
Well, thank you.
Age is a state of mind, but no, we're definitely done.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Well, why y'all both looked at each other like, babe, we're definitely
we're
done
not.
here.
No, there's no unless there's some other miracle that happens. It's not happening.
I have a question. Here's the one thing I've always wanted to know, because in the 12 years of being around you guys and talking to you guys, there's one thing that's always stuck out in my mind, and it's Midas. you guys have a Midas touch. It's like no matter what you guys touch, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your kids, whether it's a business opportunity, whatever it is, it seems like no matter what you guys touch, it turns into gold.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how is that possible? What is your secret? So how do you, because no matter what it is, like I said, whether it's you and your business, Jim, or Renee, you starting your own business and you doing your thing, or from the kids, even, from your kids, we joking, but their sons are amazing.
Yeah.
They have amazing kids.
Yeah.
The relationships that you guys have, your marriage.
Yeah.
So what's your secret?
What is that?
Well, obviously, the grace of God, because both of us being the youngest of 4 kids, ourselves, and kind of seeing how we grew up.
Right.
Maybe not exactly how we're raising our kids, but as good as our parents could do to raise us. And just, I think the grace of God that we got through what we went through as kids in households that were just, tough. They were tough.
Yeah.
They were tough in Jersey.
Absolutely.
And not a lot of resources, not a lot of money, things like that, but we had everything we needed, but not like our kids do today. So I think just the grace of God, even from when I was born, and I was, as a Catholic when I was born, given my last rites, that I wasn't going to make it off the table and I was going to die on the table.
Wow.
I think God knew he was going to take me through that and prove to the doctors and everybody else that we've got something for this young boy that's going to do great things. And I don't think I knew it till more recently that he had his hand on me personally my entire life since the day I was born. Before I was born, obviously. But then once you start realizing those things, you start connecting those dots, saying, wow, he led me through some things. These things weren't coincidence. Even before I was a believer. These were not coincidence. And the fact that we met and how we met and what we've been through together and all the similarities that we have and that the things that we value together. I think God obviously ordained this marriage and the kids, and we make mistakes and we're a mess like everybody else is, but we somehow just keep listening to the Holy Spirit's prompting and we get there and we keep moving forward, and it might be scary, but we keep doing it, and we're told to do this. We listen, we obey, we do it. And discernment on top of that, not to get involved with the wrong people, the wrong things, the wrong, whatever it is in life. I think God's had his hand on us, and we've been obedient in some ways. Not to say that means success all the time, but for somehow with these two so far, me at 50, Renee at 45, I think that's what's taken us where we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you have a different answer.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that completely. I think the grass is always going to be greenest where you water it, where you fertilize it, spend the time intentionally. And if there's something that we share that we value, whether it's our relationship with God or our relationship with one another, we're going to intentionally and passionately and diligently water that area of our lives, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So I think we have that. I think we share that we are very passionate and determined, that we won't just quit when something seems kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I see that cord of 3 strands, not easily broken, because when God is woven in, it brings this strength to the marriage where you can get through anything. And of course you'd see the highlight reel, right? It seems like a highlight reel, like you said, the business or the job, but we have our downs just like everyone else. But I think that's where God stands in those gaps. And I guess that's what I would say is he's just been in it, in everything that we've put our hand to. He's prompted us to put our hand to. And he's blessed it. And when he's broken it, he's kind of carried us through it.
I don't want to overlook something that you just said that I need you to understand how profound it was. Because when you think about that grass is greener, you think about the phrase, the grass is greener on the other side. And that's where a lot of people's mind go to. But the fact, what you just said was your grass is greener where you water it, where you tend to it, where you put your energy into, and where you fertilize it. And I think that's where a lot of people miss their blessings because they don't want to take the time to do that. They don't want to, because their grass may be brown right now. It may not be growing. It may have patches. And so they don't want to take the time to really till the land and do what it takes to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
And you touched on the hard times. We don't know the whole story. Like you said, we've seen the highlight reel. But from what we've seen, you guys, you don't take a leap of faith. You just jump out the whole airplane when it comes to your walk, when it comes to your faith walk. You guys take those big leaps when it comes to your faith. So I'm curious to know when, like you said, the prompting, and you listen to the prompting of God, when you feel that prompting and you're scared to death to take that leap, what do you do? How do you take it?
I know I'm usually the one saying, "Whoa, hold on a second, I'm not ready for this." And Renee's like, "No, we're going. We got to do it. We got to do it." I'm like, "No, I need time. Oh, slow down, slow down." I don't know about that. I'm always kind of trying to look at all of the different dynamics around us and all the things going on. But Renee's like, "No, I've been told to do it. We're doing it." Like tithing for the first time.
Yeah.
When we were in debt and had no money. Oh, we're going to tithe? No. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do it. So we did it. Well, we're going to start a small group. Oh, Angela's the first person that we met in a small group. First person. Small group at church.
Lord.
We're really going to do this at our house? We're going to invite people in our house? The strangers to come to our house? No, we're doing it. Oh, wait, we're going to go vegetarian. We're what? What? Huh? What do you mean?
I feel like that was more Renee's idea than yours.
No doubt. But 13 years later, I haven't eaten meat.
Has it been 13
years?
Wow.
13 years.
Wow.
So, those are just some examples.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's probably 100 more that we could talk about, but truly it's Renee saying, "This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm thinking. I've done the research. I know this is right. We're going to do it." And I'm like, okay. After about months of saying no. And then I just jump in and I'm like, all right, it worked out.
It worked out.
So that's what I think. What's your thought?
What is that? Okay, again, it's hard to ask Renee questions because we've talked about so much over our season of our lives and we've watched everything happen. But what is that? What is that things like God said it, I'm just he said it. I don't care. He said it. I'm going for it. What is that thing? What is that prompting for you? What does that feel like for you?
I don't want to be out of sync with what God is doing.
Right.
Okay. And I don't want to be in delay. Delayed obedience is disobedience.
Yeah.
And I don't want to miss the blessing.
Right.
Because if there's a blessing there, I need to be in position to get it.
Exactly.
So I just want to be in obedience to Him above all else.
Yeah.
And please Him before anything else.
Absolutely.
And if I miss that opportunity because I'm worshiping fear instead of having faith,
right,
or if I'm blocking a blessing that could come to us,
right,
that's on me. I got to own that.
Yeah.
But if I'm just walking in faith and doing what He tells me to do, then I don't really have to worry because I know He's got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to miss out. And if He's got something for me, why am I going to try and stand in the way
of what
or
He's trying to do?
Yeah.
He's trying to do. I remember me and Renee had been praying for a baby.
Here we go. I like this one.
We had been praying for a baby for a long time. We at the chapel. We kneeling. We praying. We believe in God. We like, okay, God, is this what my friend want? We gonna pray about this baby. We going in about this baby. We writing down notes. I mean, we're doing everything. Jim is gonna act right. We
well, it's got to be my friend gonna act right.
Jim gonna act right because we about to do this. We gonna good. It's gonna come to him in his mind. I mean, we doing everything like let it come to him, Lord. And we just praying about everything. And then you started your business at the same time, and you're in school, and you're getting your degrees and everything. And I remember you just had so much faith, like this is happening. And I remember you came to visit me. And she says to me, she's like, come outside, I just want to talk to you. She's super excited. I just want to let you know that I'm pregnant. I'm like, yes, girl, pregnant with purpose. She's like, because it was a business. I knew it was praying for a baby, but we was like, yes, girl, you are pregnant. You are going to give birth to this business, and and you're going to look at me like,
she is being fundamentally sound, and you just being religious because she couldn't say it any more clearer. She didn't beat around the bush. She didn't do it in a riddle.
I'm pregnant, and I'm like, girl, yes, just like,
how are we gonna birth this idea? Probably in the usual way, but
And she's looking at me like, so she don't get this, huh? So how was this right? Like, what was your thoughts though, for real? Because I believe what you believe. So I knew, right? But may not to you, but it happened so fast. So I was like, wait a minute, we gotta be talking about the business because this is really quick. Like, what was you thinking as your friend over here going, yeah, we're going to birth this business out?
I'm like, how could she not get it? You were like the first one I told after I told Jim. And not only that, you'd given me the book.
I gave you the book.
The book, right?
I gave you the book.
Which was a great lesson. Because, it's great. We get these messages from God and we're going to do this thing. And then we go and we steamroll everybody else. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the book, The Power of a Praying Wife.
Yes. I remember.
Right? Many are the plans in a person's heart. God orders the steps. So we submit our plans to God. And that was when I started writing my prayers in this book you gave me. My prayers for my husband, all the things I knew God created him to be, and all the blessings I knew God had for us. And one of them was the baby. So I was like, how could she not get, I mean, she's the one that told me about the
She's talking about birth in the business.
Am I not being clear? Maybe I gotta say it another way.
Like in another language, because I know another language. Like I was laughing so hard at myself, like, oh, you are super religious today. You just super spiritual today, Angela, because you done missed that whole thing. Like, but you like you don't give up. Like I'm not exaggerating, guys. I'm so serious. Once she know that God has told her, you don't give up no matter what.
And I'm curious. I have kind of a twofold question for both of you to kind of touch back on what you were talking about, Jim, as far as your background and your upbringing. And correct me if I'm wrong, if I misstep. You didn't necessarily grow up in a quote unquote religious or faith-filled background. And so to see you now, and like you said, Renee, you don't want to be out of sync in what God has for you. To me, the word that for both of you guys that comes to mind is tenacity. So for you, how did you get there? How did from your upbringing to younger years to now, where everything you do is centered around your faith and your faith walk? Because it sounds simple. And what I don't want the family to misunderstand, because words are real pretty. Just have faith.
Right.
You know, you lost your job. Just have faith. You know, your whole world is turning upside down. Just have faith. It's real pretty to say, but that practical application of it is something totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm curious for you guys, how did you get here? How did you get to the point where you know God said something to your wife, we gonna run with it. We just gonna see how it works. So for Jim, for you, because that has to be a little different for you.
If it is. So growing up Catholic Italian in New Jersey. So everything, no disrespect to Catholic religion, but religion is rules, regulations, things that they want you to do, as we all know. And it worked for me to a degree to keep me in line. Okay. I was the fourth boy. I didn't need to be scared straight. And when I went to Catholic boys high school, all boys Catholic high school, it was, you walk the straight line. You're going to college. You listen to the priests. You listen to the nuns. Do what you got to do. I needed that because I needed to go down a different path.
Right.
So that worked. But once I became an adult, I started kind of breaking away to say, well, this isn't really working for me. I know it's great to check the box and go to church every week, but I'm not doing anything during the week that's of value.
Right.
And I didn't even realize it. I was just doing all stupid stuff. So then when we met and we decided, hey, this isn't working for us, we need to find something deeper. Of course, Renee led that charge, of course. So I was just along for the ride, of course, kind of, kicking and screaming, I don't want change, I don't want this. But once you started realizing the relationship and what God has in store for you and a relationship with God and Jesus directly instead of going through a priest in a confessional booth, that kind of stuff opened my eyes to say, well, what have I been doing all these years? Why do I need a third person to tell me, or, a median, somebody in between us to go tell God what I can tell him directly?
Come on now.
That was like the shackles were off. And then we started saying, well, this really does work. If you have a relationship with God, you can ask and you can listen and you can have interactions. And that changed everything for us. And then obviously Renee, being as, wants to be educated on everything. She knew exactly what was different about what we were getting into and our Christian walk versus our Catholic faith.
Right.
Once I realized how different it was and what we truly needed as a young couple that wanted to start a family or was starting a family, it really made all the difference just to trust God to take control of everything.
Okay.
And even then it was hard, but that's kind of what I feel.
What about you, Renee?
Yeah, I think what I would say is everybody has something in the tank, right, that can keep them going forward.
Right.
But at some point, you're going to run dry. And I think in our own strength, we did and were able to do a lot of things, and that was great. And our parents gave us everything they had, and their Catholic faith, they gave us all they could give.
Right.
But at some point, you've got to take it for yourself and decide, what am I going to do with
Take
this?
the reign.
And I think what we had done was we just decided we were going to live the American dream. We were going to do it all in our own strength. We were going to accumulate, acquire, get the house, get the kids, all the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there we were, sitting in the middle of it with all our stuff, looking around like, ugh, what did we do? And
Ready to divorce. We were talking about, hey, maybe this isn't working. 2 young kids, 2 a newborn, miserable, in debt, just no faith, nothing.
Right.
No trust in God. And that's when we got to the bottom of ourselves and needed something more, right?
yeah, I think that's what it was, because I remember you saying that, like, it probably shouldn't be this hard. Like, you know what? Maybe we ought to think about going our separate ways.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, absolutely not.
My girl. My girl.
You're not getting out.
I don't know what you thought that was going to do.
It's like the mafia.
Death.
Once you get in, you're not getting out.
Right?
But I think we reached the end of ourselves. And that's what caused us to start looking up, reaching out, and realizing that there is no way we're going to be able to do this on our own. I think that was our crucial moment. And I did start seeking, but at the same time started praying. And God used a friend of Jim's to invite him to lunch about a business something. And that friend subsequently invited him to church. So then it became his idea, right? It wasn't just me leading the charge. And I was like, hey, yeah, great idea. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
It was so merciful of God to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then when we did decide to commit our lives to Christ, it was, again, an act of mercy.
Right.
At the same exact time, with eyes closed, we both raised our hands and made
Wow.
that decision independent of one another.
Wow.
So we didn't have a situation where one was leading out front and the other was lagging.
Yeah.
But we realized how short we were falling and that we needed God in that mix.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, baby.
I apologize. Max, just one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Before you, because I'll give it over to you because I don't want to monopolize all the time.
Go for it, baby.
Because I'm curious about something. And this is for Jim.
Oh, boy.
And I don't want the family to misunderstand. Jim, you are a man's man. You're an Italian from New Jersey. You are a man's man.
Yes,
you know?
he really is.
Yeah, when you're a man's man. But you have a wife who, like you said, tenacity. And please don't misunderstand, family. We're not calling Renee controlling. Don't misunderstand that. It's not what we're saying. But she knows what she wants. And when she gets her mind on something, she's going to make it come to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what it looks like.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is speak to the men. How do you, as a man like you, like I said, you're a man's man. You have your own mind. You have your own mind set up. How do you deal with a wife like that?
That's very carefully. I'd say sometimes not very well. No, I would
Real
say,
slow.
Yeah, really slow. Well, we're both kind of fired up people. We get fired up for things we want. I'm more outgoing, fired up. She'll get fired up inside, and you wouldn't know it. So do it with a smile. But I think when I look at those qualities in her, I'd rather have that than someone that just is a doormat and just lets me do whatever I want and walk. So I could walk over her and
Come on,
and
Jill.
do it. You don't want that because then
Yeah.
it's just all about me.
So
I'm
good.
not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not challenged. I'm not.
So good.
That's what it is. And sure enough, be careful what you wish for because there's days when it's hard because she's very strong-willed and determined, and I'm the same way in different ways. But when we're together and we fight together in that same mentality, there's nothing that can stop us. And that's what I think. That's what I know. That's the differentiator, I think, between what we have and a lot of relationships. I don't know anybody else's. It's hard enough on my own. But to know that we both have that same desire to fight and to win, win the right thing, win hearts and minds and make an impact on people and not fall short. We all do. We all fall short.
Right.
But to try to minimize the amount of times that we fall.
Right.
And if we fall, we get back up and we learn from it and we try to just impact people.
Right.
And I think that purpose in life has led us to trust each other a lot more than we probably would have if we were just kind of individuals, separate finances, separate lives. I'm going on a weekend trip. You're going to do this. We don't do that stuff.
Right.
I can't do that out of respect for her and our marriage.
Right.
And we don't want our boys to see that there's a weak woman that's just going to stand back and let dad do everything he wants to do. They know they're going to marry a strong woman one day.
Exactly.
She's already prayed for that before they were born.
That's right.
She's praying for that now. They're at the age where they're two older ones are starting to notice girls.
Right.
They need to wait until the right one comes that is someone like mom. And everyone, you look at mom, I want to marry someone like mom. Well, if they do, they better be ready for the ride because it's going to be good.
Understand what that means, marrying somebody like mom.
Yes.
I got you.
A straight force. We was talking about a couple of things, and I wanted to come to back up. Is that when you're talking about being in debt, like maybe we just need to go away, we just don't need to do this anymore, whatever the case is that where faith and finance came from? Is that how that started with faith and finance? Because I remember talking to you, was like, Angela, we were in debt, like we were in super duper debt, but you both like fought so hard to come out of that. So was that like, that's how because when I met Renee, it was faith and finances. So is that how you started that? How, like when you started that, that writing that and knowing that was something that you want to teach other people? Is that where you started that at?
Yeah, I think it again came from that space of lack. We'd done everything in our own strength, realized we couldn't do it on our own.
Right.
And we had some things that were out of order in our marriage, in our parenting, and in our finances, in our home.
Right.
Proverbs, a wise woman builds her house with her hands. With those same hands, she tears it down.
Right.
And that's kind of the pattern we'd found ourselves in, was just tearing down what we'd built up.
Right.
So December was when we had given our lives to Christ, and then
2010.
2010, and we'd been working at that time to get a hold of finances because we had no idea what was going on. We didn't know how much was coming in, how much was going out. He was paying a few bills, I was paying a few. We weren't in alignment.
Right.
We were scattered.
Right.
And we knew something was off, but we would much rather just, all right, we'll deal with that one day. We'll deal with that
Head in
one
the
day.
sand.
Right, head in the sand. So we kind of came to that realization, like, whoa, we've got to figure something out here. So going through those painful moments or saying, gosh, we don't even have a budget. And when we put the numbers together, we realized how much more was going out than what was coming in.
Right.
We realized the deficit, and it was painful. We realized how much we were spending on things we didn't value.
Right.
And how little we were spending on the things that we did profess
Right.
to value.
Right.
And that was the catalyst for that. So as we got through it, I won't say we conquered and we were like, yeah, we got it all figured out. We got the magic formula.
Right.
No, as we got it balanced, we had what was coming in was what was going out, and we set up the tithe. Once we had that formula figured out and the blessings started coming from that, we said, whoa, like, okay, other people need to know this.
Right.
And so that January, we were in church, and that was when they gave the call for people to lead e-groups or join e-groups.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I leaned over and I said, I think I'm supposed to lead an e-group. And Jim leaned over and said,
Heck no.
No, we're not. I don't know who told you that.
yeah. I said, no, I think God's telling me to lead a group. I think we got to do this. He said, maybe you should join one first. We just got here. We're new.
Right. We're the new people.
Right. We haven't even been here a month. Like,
Right.
maybe we should slow, hold on. And I was like, no, I'm not supposed to join one. He's telling me I'm supposed to lead one. And I said, well, what are you going to lead it on? I said, finances. And then it was, oh, heck no. Don't be airing our dirty laundry.
We just trying to get it settled
We
here.
just got this together. I just want to
Right.
start telling
Oh,
people.
we
about
weren't
it.
even together yet. We were trying to get it together. I mean, what can
Right.
we possibly tell them? Everything we did wrong?
Listen.
Yeah.
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 Basically, that's what it was. But it's knowing your place too. Because, from an order standpoint, it's got to be God is in authority over me.
Right.
And I have to listen to him. Not that I should listen to my husband, of course. You can't steamroll people.
Right.
But if God tells me to do something, I have to do it.
Right.
And the more I can pray about that for my husband versus telling, the more the Holy Spirit has that space to work. Because surely if God told me something, he's told my husband too.
Right.
Right.
He's not giving me some kind of insider trading tip.
Right.
And he would never do anything to divide us.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
challenge comes in when you just, this is it and this is what we're doing. Nobody
Right.
likes that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we had to kind of know our order and then know how to operate within that space.
Right.
Faith and Finance was born of God telling me to tell people what we did wrong and how to do the exact opposite and how to dig yourself out
How
of
to
the
dig
pit.
yourself out the pit. It's amazing. I remember signing up. I remember coming. And I was like, oh, Lord, okay, I'm going to go. Because it's kind of far from where we live. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And at the time, I remember I was on a 40-day fast. I was on a 40-day liquid fast. So I get there, and I'm like, before I even, like, when I pulled it, and I was like, she got something for me? Oh, okay then, because that's, I'm just hood. I'm like, okay, God, I'm going to let her know. So I remember walking in. He's like, you want something? Like, I know I'm fasting. You looking at me like, okay, we're fasting. Fruit, vegetables? No, just liquid. Oh. And then I remember, I never forget, he was like, well, I can make you a smoothie. Come on and make a smoothie. So she was like, I can make you a smoothie. And I remember sitting down, and I was like, just want to let you know that God told me you had something for me. And I came to get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just stared at me like, okay, yeah. okay, yeah. Just like Jim told me not to do this.
Not to let these crazy people in my house.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, and it has grown like you guys are the most giving people I know. But how? Okay, so you come out and we can't say mastered, okay, but you've gotten it where your finances need to be. And I remember there were certain things that you would do. You were you was like, we're gonna meal prep. Like, and I'm going to show you how to grocery shop, and I'm going to show you how to coupon. It was so much stuff. I came on with a folder. I was like, what in the? Yes, the folder. She had an outline, y'all, and a folder.
She's got it with her.
Yes, the actual you do have the first folder. Oh my gosh, Renee, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, and it was serious. It was serious business. And so how did you guys steadfast to that? Because I know how far you've guys gotten. You can share if you want, and if you don't, that's fine. But I know how far you've gotten. But how did you guys stay steadfast to that? Through every challenge to say, no, we're not going to quit. We're going to keep doing this as far as your finances were concerned. How did you guys just say, we're going to just keep going? We're going to keep going.
Well, it was kind of like the same thing you just said. The Holy Spirit told me, you've got something for me, and I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And God had told us that he had something for us, and we weren't going to quit until we got it.
Yeah.
And what he had told us clearly was to owe nothing to no man, except for the continuing debt to love one another. And that on the other side of that, there was peace.
Right.
There was just this
freedom.
And we just knew that if God had that for us, we wanted it.
Right.
No matter what it took. And we once he told us that, we were like, all right, well, let's figure out what's the map. What do we need to do to get there?
Yeah. I think I need the family to hear. I don't want the family to miss that. What you just said, you was like, okay, we want to owe no man nothing but love. Right. And we want to be able to be a blessing basically to other people. But we have got to do this under all circumstances. If he got something for me, because I think a lot of times when people try to get out of debt, they feel like they're losing something. So that's why I want the family not to miss what you're saying, because you're saying we didn't lose anything. What we gained was freedom. What we gained was options. What we gained was a peaceful, and here's the thing that's so beautiful that you said that we got peace. I think people don't understand that, when you owe no one anything, the peace that comes with that, and people don't understand that because you're so used to owing someone something. And so it's normalized for us,
life
right?
is set up. This life, like you talked about earlier, the American dream.
Yeah.
People don't realize the American dream is set up to put you in debt.
Exactly.
That is the American dream.
The Americans want you to be in debt so they can make money off of you. That's it.
Get the house, you got a house payment.
That's right.
Get the car, you got a car note.
Right.
It's
School
set
debt.
up, school debt.
Everything.
Get the education, you got a school debt. You need credit, get a credit card. That's debt. Everything, people don't realize your credit is based on how much debt you owe.
Exactly right.
The higher your debt, the higher your credit score. The more debt you're in, the higher your credit score, as long as you're paying it on time.
It's a total scam.
It's a scam. That's what credit is set up for. Yeah. Credit is not set up for, I don't owe anybody, so I got good credit. No, it's set up. They give you credit so you can go out and owe people. That's the American dream.
That's right. And that's the lie.
That's the lie.
Because the Bible tells us that the borrower is a slave
to the lender.
Ooh.
But Jesus died to set us free from that enslavement. And it's not just spiritual.
Right.
We want to just put it in that box.
Exactly.
But it's all the
things.
areas.
Yes.
It's your
all
marriage.
areas. Yes.
It's your finances. It's all areas. And we wanted that freedom in all areas.
Yeah.
And we needed to know the truth so that we could be set free.
Right.
Because the truth we'd been told was that, mortgage debt is good debt. Or, you got to get a good credit score.
Yeah.
Or, you got to get loans for school. We had believed that lie.
Yeah.
But when we learned the truth, it set us free.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we didn't have all the things we wanted.
Right.
The newest cars.
Right.
I don't know, the nicest this, that, and the other.
Right.
We didn't have that, but we had what we needed. And we knew the very thing we wanted, that peace and that freedom.
Yeah.
The only way to get it was to do it God's way.
And you didn't have the phone calls coming in saying, hey,
You're right.
You owe me. Hey, where's my? I do have one quick question to go back for a moment. You said you got to the point where you had to align. I'm curious, who initiated that conversation, and how did that initial conversation go? Because one thing that we talk about all the time on the podcast is that we believe in having those ugly conversations.
Yeah.
We believe in having those ugly, truthful conversations, not to be hurtful, but to be vulnerable and have those uncomfortable conversations. I'm assuming when you guys sat down and had that initial conversation, I'm assuming it wasn't comfortable.
Especially to see what you really owe.
Yeah. So who initiated it and how did that first conversation
who do you think
go?
initiated it?
Well, okay. So Renee, when you initiated the conversation.
Yeah. And I said, no, I don't want to. I'd rather be, see, there comes a point where, just like we say, when we moved out of New Jersey, we didn't realize we were more comfortable in an uncomfortable environment than we were to do the hard work to get out of it.
Right.
Same thing with our finances. I was like, I don't know. This is what I know. This is what we do. Renee said, nope, we got to look at this. So there was a lot of conversations that were not pretty. A lot of the veil was lifted, and I got to look myself in the mirror on this one. And I'm only bringing in that much, and I'm spending that much, and I got this house that's too much for us and too big for us, and mortgage is too much. What are we doing? Do I have to go get another job making more money? But I can't because I'm not. I mean, it was just so many. As a man, it was a lot of convicting conversations. Like, what are you going to do? What's next?
Yeah.
But obviously, Renee, in the way she, goes at things, but she also does it with gentleness and love and kindness. I mean, it wasn't like, you suck, you're going, you better change or else we're going to be, on the street. There's none of that. It was always her trying to pray for me, pour into me, help me realize what we needed to do, because she knew she was prompted to do the right thing. And once knuckleheads we are, guys, once we open up and listen, things can actually happen. So I would say it was a lot of tough conversations, but very gentle the way it could have been. It could have been a lot worse.
Right. Did you, because as a man, of course, were you like, wait a minute, because sometimes we get shocked because we got all this stuff, right? So we really think we're doing really well and we got a lot of money. And as a man, I know, me, because me and Sanjay, he hates the budget. We have a budget meeting. He hates budget.
I hate
meetings.
him.
He hates, oh Lord.
I hate him.
I can only have him for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, he leaves. He leaves the room. I don't even know.
I didn't
in his
check out.
mind, he done checked out.
And it's impromptu. We're sitting there eating dinner. Next thing you know, the finance book comes out.
You're like, not now.
And we having a whole financial meeting. I'm like, I'm just trying to eat my steak. That's all I'm trying to do.
But I'd be like, we could do something else better than we just did. So as men, you're thinking you're making all this good money, and then your wife brings this to you. You're like, well, am I really making good money? Not understanding that you are making good money. You're just spending poorly, right?
It's not what you make, it's
exactly.
what you spend. We say that.
Exactly, because I know that there's a time, like back in the day when Cinch used to work for a bank, and he was making phenomenal money, because that's when I met you, and we didn't understand, because he was like, no, I'm gonna get a part-time job, because let me just say this, side hustles are great, all those things are great, but I'm just saying sometimes you really don't need it if you look at what you're bringing in and what's going out, right? Because sometimes you can spend more time with your family if you realize, I think a lot of people don't check their finances or their budgeting and saying, for you guys, for what I hear, and it's for us as well, it is not about anything else but having a peace of mind right now. It is nothing else but having experience and encounter with our family and with our children. That was for what I hear Renee saying, that was the going thing for you. Like our portion, God said our portion is peace, and I want it. I want that portion. I'm not worrying. Debt free is beautiful, but if debt free gonna bring me peace and freedom, I want that.
Right.
And because it wasn't like you was going after the thing, you was going out what God told you. Peace and freedom is my portion, right? And that's what you go after. And I think a lot of times I'm keep saying this because I need family to understand that sometimes you're like, I just want to be debt free and I don't owe nobody nothing. No. If you want to be peaceful, right? And if you want to have an encounter and an experience, think about that more. I think that if more people thought of it like that, I think people would want to really get out of debt. I think that people would really want to save, because to sit down and be like, just don't owe nobody nothing, and I can really do what I want. Now here's the season of my life where I can bless other people, which is always, that's one thing for me. That's always been one of our intents. We really want to bless other people.
To be blessed, to be a blessing.
Yes. Yeah. So as the ball was rolling, Renee, what were you thinking? Because, sometimes what we do, we'll get started, like ball rolling, feeling good. Okay, 20,000. Okay, 40,000. And then out of nowhere, not on purpose, real subtle, your old habits will try to roll back up on you. How did you guys handle that?
I would say we just kept going back to that last thing that God told us to do. We personally didn't want debt-free, knowing how much that would entail, but we wanted what God wanted for us.
Right.
So every time we would hit a roadblock, we kept coming back to, but God told us, owe nothing to no man.
Right.
That includes this mortgage. We just kept coming back to it.
Right.
So, and we hit roadblocks after we had gone through and gotten rid of the fringe debt, if you will, right? We sold the car that was maybe $25,000, bought an $8,000 car. Like we'd done those things. So we'd gotten rid of everything. All that was left was this mortgage.
Right.
And we thought, we were tempted to go back to the old way of, well, I mean, it's a good day. You know, everybody needs a house to live in. We didn't need that big of a house. We were like the kid at the buffet line with the big plate and figured we might as well just pile everything on.
Pile everything
Right.
on.
So whenever we would hit those roadblocks or be tempted to go back to those old ways, we'd go back to what he told us. And when we took the leap of faith, put the house on the market, and it didn't sell. All right, well, let's regroup and then we'll try again. And then the third time it sold.
Wow.
So it took commitment, but at the same time, as long as we kept going back to that last thing he told us, there was never a question mark. Why wouldn't God want freedom for us, for his children?
Right.
He sent his son to die to give us freedom.
Right.
He didn't want us shackled.
Right.
So we just knew it. And we knew we were going to hit roadblocks, but that's kind of what kept us going when the rubber met the road and we hit some blocks.
To just say, okay, baby, I know you had a question.
No, I was just saying I'm curious because I think, speaking for me, I'm just getting to the point of getting comfortable with finances. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up talking about finances. I didn't grow up talking about budgets. I didn't grow up talking about saving. Truth be told, I grew up in a survival home.
Yeah.
We just survived. Let's get from Monday to Friday. And that's how I was raised. And for the longest time, I brought that with me. So it wasn't until recently, I said within the last 3 or 4 years, honestly, if I'm being honest, I just got comfortable with finance. I just got comfortable with having a conversation. At what point did you guys get comfortable with finance? At what point did you guys get comfortable having the financial conversations?
I would say, so 2010, we gave our life, to Christ, and then started talking about tithing and financing, start to see the benefits there.
Right.
2012, I'd been with major corporation, Johnson & Johnson, for 10 years, and I got laid off in October of 2012. And within 9 days, I had a job I wasn't even looking for.
Right.
And God blessed me with better income and better opportunity to make income as a sales guy, things like it was unbelievable how he blessed us with that. And then we started realizing, okay, there's something to this. If I lost a job and now I'm making more, we got to do more, and we got to really go after this goal.
Right.
And we went after it hard.
Right.
And that took some hard conversations about we got to sell this house. And even though you guys remember the house, it was ridiculous. We didn't need that house. It was we moved there with one kid, and all that square footage and all that debt. It was stupid. But we got caught up in her. At least I did, and she just went along for the ride at the time. So once we realized that was the biggest boat anchor in our life, it was symbolic of things that were holding us back. It was a shackle. Once we committed to it, first time didn't sell, second time didn't sell, third time put it on the market, it sold. And we took less than what we paid for it just to get the heck out of there.
Right.
Honestly, we're like, I don't even care. Let's just get out. We'll figure it out. Then we decided we're not going to buy anything else. We're going to go stay at our other property that we had a rental property. Thank the Lord for that property we've had since 2005. We stayed there until we knew we were going to stay there for a long time until we then figured out maybe pay that off. But then we found a house that we could afford to take what we had and put it into the house and not have debt at closing.
Right.
That was an unbelievable experience, but something that, talk about that freedom. That day, we still have pictures of that day with the boys being with us at the closing and taking a picture with that. We paid off this debt. This house is ours, and we have no more debt.
Yeah.
And that was probably the start of, oh my gosh, we accomplished something. My goal was by 45.
Right.
And we did it by the time I was 45. It was a good 7-8 year journey, maybe even longer. But once we did that, we realized, all right, now we can go do more, give more, have more peace, have more freedom. Take my foot off the gas of being anxious that I got to go make.
Right.
Now
Ooh,
I could do it
so
the right
good.
way and not have to worry about, we're okay. If I lose a job tomorrow, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the debt. We have other things that we have to spend on with 4 boys, but we don't have that overhead that we once had.
Right.
So all those things to be said is that I think we did it together. We realized the goal was there and God set it for us. We went after it, and he guided us through the process. Wasn't pretty, but we got there. And now we're able to use, we always say, make your misery your ministry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I heard that in church one day, and that's one thing that stuck with me throughout my life since we became believers. Make your do something that was uncomfortable for you, make it comfortable for somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Help somebody else shrink that learning curve or that pain down.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had to go through, that pain, or dig those ditches to wait for the rain, and we did, and now we're in a better position, and we could do more. So anyway, I'll shut up. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
I wanted to say something that you just said a few minutes ago that was so powerful too, because I don't want the family to miss it. You said we knew that we were in debt and this house was too much, that we were willing to take whatever we could. I'm sorry. Just to get out of it. Now, here's the thing that's crazy. A lot of people won't do that because they want the big number, but they're drowning in this house debt.
Yes.
Drowning in the house debt. Like, get out the house and get an apartment.
Yeah.
You can get a house again, right? Exactly. But people, and so for you to say, like, listen, we want it out. We were determined that this was not our portion. So we want it out, and if we took less, we just going to take less, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. But what we're not going to do is sit up in here and be drowning, just drowning when God is throwing you a life vest. Like, take it.
Right.
Take it. It's not what you think, but I promise you I'll give you more than you can ask for. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that was, I didn't want to do, because y'all are just dropping so many gems. I need them to catch what y'all dropping right now. Amazing.
So at what point did it become comfortable for you, Renee?
I would say once we made it to our house that we live in now, because there was the interim period where we'd sold the house, and like Angela said, for less than we bought it for. Now, the American dream, the lie is, you got to sell that thing for more.
Right. Got to make a profit off of it.
You gotta.
Yeah, it's not good. You're not being good with the money. But Jim had a great way of positioning it that was like, oh my gosh, you're totally right. And you had said, right, we don't own the house. The bank owns
We're
the
renting
house.
this from the bank forever. We don't want to owe that. I don't care if we take a loss. Now it's there. Let them take it. Let somebody else take our debt. I don't want that.
Right.
So let's just walk away. We take a loss. Doesn't matter. It's no longer ours. We didn't own it to begin with.
Say that again. Say it again.
We
You're
didn't-
renting from the bank.
We are renting from the bank. They're making money off of us. I can even tell you, we did a interest only loan when we got in that house.
Oh, yeah.
That was the scam we
First
did back
year.
in like 2008.
Right.
Let's do interest only. Like I tell you, all the mistakes we made, so many dumb mistakes. We got caught up. We can go get that house. We deserve that house. No, we don't deserve that anymore. Give it to somebody else. I'm not renting from you. I don't want anything to do with you, Mr. Mortgage. We're done.
Woo.
It was
price
tough.
tag, right? Remember you said the price tag. We didn't go to the store and buy this house. Let's say it was $100. We didn't put $100 down and then turn around and sell it for $50. No, we bought the house, but mortgage-wise, we never paid that amount.
Right.
And we never would. It would have taken us years,
Yeah.
30-something years to pay it back. It's not like we bought it for this and sold it for this. We just didn't make the windfall we thought.
Right.
We were just getting robbed.
Right.
That's right.
But he was right. He's like, you sound like you paid $100 and sold it for $50. And I was like, you're right. So we just went, you know what? Let's just take the money and run, get out of debt. We didn't have to bring money to closing because we had systematically been paying down mortgage. We had a home equity line on that place. I mean, all of it. And then we were living in limbo for several months in that house, in the rental property. It was uncomfortable not knowing, are we going to be able to move into this other house? Do we have the money? Because we thought we'd sell this other thing. That didn't come through. We had some things. But once we finally got into the house and we could exhale, that's when it came, when we were like, okay, we're here.
We're here.
It's good. We're comfortable now. We can breathe.
Let's go back to faith and finances for a moment, because like you said, they're dropping so many nuggets. I need the family to understand. And what I don't want to have happen is that a family member turns off or doesn't listen because they think they're too far removed from the conversation we're having. Well, I don't make six figures. I don't make this. So this what you're saying. I don't own homes. I'm in an apartment. I don't have rental property to fall back on. So I don't want them to miss it. So what I want you to do is talk to the family member right now who's making $30,000 a year, who's making $25,000 a year, who's in debt. What would be your advice on how they can get started to their road to peace.
Thank you. Come on, road to peace. We're going to change the way that sounds. Road to peace from now. Not more road to debt freedom, but road to peace. Ooh.
That was good. That was a good nugget. He just dropped a nugget. I would say just be realistic and we all need to look ourselves in the mirror and also just listen to what God says about you and what he wants for you instead of what the world and the media and the banks and everybody wants to say about you. You turn the media off, you turn off all that noise, and you say, okay, what do I make? What can I afford? As long as you're not living way above your means, you can chip away at any debt you have, whether you're renting, which is fine. Not everybody can own a house. There's this fallacy, this lie that everyone should own a house. No. They want you to try to own a house, but look what happened back in the early 2000s. Everyone tried to get in these houses, and the bubble burst, and then everyone was out.
I was in mortgage during that time, so I know
exactly. We were that close to being there. So I would say it's okay. You have to be content with what you have, and not chase somebody else's dream or somebody else's vision, because everyone's showing the highlight reel. We talked about it. They all think they got these cars, these houses. Every time I drive through our neighborhood and other neighborhoods, I'm like, they don't own that. They don't own that. And maybe I'm judging. Sorry for that, Lord. But it's true though. Relatively speaking, people aren't making enough money to own all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're renting it, and they're renting it at a high premium. But they want you to think that they have that. That's mine. No, it's not. That's the banks. That car's the banks.
Yeah.
That house is the banks. That vacation home, that vacation, that's on the credit card. That all the things they want you to think they have, they don't, because we know we were there. Yeah. That's why we're saying it, because we lived it.
Right.
But I would say be consistent with your giving. You're going to be blessed with it as a result of it. Be realistic about your finances. Don't live above your means. Don't have to go drive the shiniest car. And there's plenty of good used cars, although they're more expensive than new cars sometimes right now. But just, if you're comfortable with yourself and you're confident in what God's plan for you is, you don't need to worry about all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all relative. There's different degrees of it. I think it's like our debt might not have been somebody else's debt, but I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I think it's fixing the broken ideology that got you in that situation in the first place. Right? You'll know the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Well, the truth of the matter is it's not an earning problem.
Right.
It's a spending problem.
Come on.
So once you realize that,
Right.
because we want to point the finger, if you worked that side job, if you earned more, if you this, that's not the problem. And in marriages, a lot of times it comes to the husband, right? Like, you're supposed to be the provider. What are you doing? You should be earning more.
Right.
Well, maybe it's not an earning problem. Maybe it's a spending problem. Am I being a good steward of that money that is coming in? Or am I just spending on anything I want and need?
Right.
Am I truly preparing? Am I saying, all right, I'm going to spend this much at the store. I'm going to do, what am I doing?
Right.
So regardless of your income level, it really is irrelevant, because again, it's not an earning problem, it's a spending problem.
Right.
So if your income is $35,000, then you better not be living above that means. This is what comes in every month. Okay, this is what I have to spend. And now I have to break it up. I have to give, save, spend. 10% of everything that comes in has to go back to God, because all that money, that $35,000, that's just a loan from the bank of God. Give him his 10% back.
Right.
Okay, next you did that, great. Now save 20% of that. Put it away for the rainy day. It's not a matter of if, it's when. It will rain.
It will rain.
Yeah.
Now, next step, okay, now you got 70%. That's what you're living off of.
Right.
How could you stretch it? How can you be creative? What do you truly need?
Right.
Versus what am I buying?
Right.
Have a plan. I would say that's it, because truly, if you want to get promoted in the kingdom of God in financial areas, Bible tells you if you can't be trusted with little, you can't be trusted with much. So if you're not doing it at $35,000, why do you think you're going to be doing it at $350,000?
Come on
Right.
now.
So I think it's great training ground.
Yeah.
If you're in a season where your income isn't where you'd like it to be,
Right.
it's great training ground, because it's a heck of a lot easier to tithe on $35,000 than it is $350 or $3.5. I can imagine as it goes up, it's painful. But if you get in that habit and you start training yourself now, it just gets easier.
Yeah.
I think it's two things that you just said that I need the family to understand, because a lot of people don't understand that your spending is tied a lot of the times to your emotions.
Yeah. Yes, it
and
is.
how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your current situation. How were you trained when it came to money? And a lot of times it's just a lack of not knowing And then also, excuse me, and then also understanding that people think, like you said, just learning how to cut out things. People, and you said it earlier, Bay, people automatically think they're depriving themselves. Well, I'm losing.
Right.
You know, I'm losing Netflix. I'm losing a car. I'm losing to be able to shop. I'm losing to be able to go on vacation.
Yeah.
We're not realizing what they're gaining. Yeah, for right now, you may be losing the ability to watch something on television. However, but you're gaining peace.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Because that's an extra $10 to $15 that you're able to put somewhere else to save.
Totally
Right.
You know, no, you may not be able to go on this vacation now, but later on down the line, you may be able to pay cash for a vacation
Exactly right.
house.
Exactly
Right.
right.
You know, so, and we always think about, and you said it best, you always think about what we're losing. I'm losing this. No, it's what you're gaining. Even if it's just being able to sit down and not argue with your wife.
Exactly right.
Because she got a nasty phone call from a bill collector who doesn't understand, who's just trying to do a job, and they're calling nasty, already got an attitude. And now she's already stressed. And I know I'm talking to a family member right now. She's already stressed because she's been at home with the kids all day. And you've been trying to make it work. And now you come home and she's aggravated because of a phone call. And so what you're able to gain is that peace of mind for your wife, that peace of mind for your kids. So it's not what are you losing, but it's whatever you gain. Right. And Renee, you're amazing. Just the things you be saying. I think people miss that. If, like you said, if you're making $35,000 a year, don't live a life of $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you're making 35, live a life of 30.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, there's a way to do it, but we, like you said, we get caught up in the American dream. Yeah. You know, Jimmy has a Bronco. I should be able to have a Bronco.
Right.
You know, Jimmy has his kids in soccer. I should be able to have my kids in soccer. Well, maybe you should just go to Walmart, buy a soccer ball, go out in the backyard, and you and the kids kick the ball around. Right. Maybe that's your season right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
I think too. I help a lot of people with finances, and I talk to a lot of people, and the first thing they want to do is budget. Let's get our budget. The people who come to me the first week are not happy. I don't do budgets first. I need to know what is your relationship with money, number one. I need to know what were you taught about money, number two. I make them write a letter to money, number three. This annoys people because you want to go write some numbers. I'm not going to have you write numbers and do that for you to return to that if your mindset has not changed. Right. So when I go to finance places and and everybody be talking about budget, and I be like, no, that don't work for me. Right. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your financial thing. But what I'm saying to you is people is that, and I always say that, and they be looking, I'm like, because I just listen to all these people talking about finances, and I'm like, I'm not trying to change y'all. But what I am saying, if this mindset does not change, this person that you're trying to show how to budget, they will return to it. So I need to know what's the relationship. So when you were saying that it's an emotional thing, it's not a earning thing, it is a spending thing because it is a mental thing. What is your emotions tied to when you spend? When you go spend $40, $50, $60, $1,000, what is your emotions to that? What is it tied to, right? Like, how does it make you feel? Because you need to understand that, right? And once you understand that, sometimes it's like being an overeater. You're not overweight because of that. You're overweight because I'm an emotional eater. Yeah. So this size that I have is because of emotional eating that I'm doing, because I'm not dealing with the underlying stuff that I should be dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's the same thing with money. Money, people utilize money to not deal with the underlying stuff. If I can buy enough sweaters, if I can buy a beautiful car, but you take you with you, and until your mind is right and you're ready to do this, you can do it for a little while and it feels good, but then you start seeing that money being saved like we talked about before, and be like, you know what? $1,000, that ain't gonna hurt nobody, but it does. It sets you back without you even knowing that it sets you back. So I think the big picture is to change our mindset. The Word of God says, transform your thoughts, transform your mind, transform the way that you think about money, right? And a lot of times people say I have to work for money. Money really supposed to be working for you. Yeah. Money's supposed not only be working for you, so should the money's grandchildren and the children's children should be working for you. But we don't see it that way. We see money totally different. You know, we see it, like you said, the American dream, and we gotta have it, gotta get it. And we were those people for a long time.
Yeah, we were the people. We were the people where we know we shouldn't be going on vacation right now. We know we shouldn't, but we're gone.
But we gone.
You know, and we'll deal with it when we come back.
That was our like our motto.
Yeah.
We'll handle it when we come back. We'll handle it when we come back.
Now at this point, now we don't even enjoy the vacation because
Right.
now we're stressed the moment we get back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because now we're trying to figure out where Peter needs to be paid. So let me go rob Paul to go ahead and pay Peter.
Right.
I am curious about one thing though. This journey, it's been a beautiful journey for you, but you both have said it. It has not been an easy journey. I want to know throughout it all, what was the hardest part? What was the thing that you had to really buckle down and be like, God, you have to do this because there's no way I can do this. What was the hardest part?
What do you got?
Would you say selling the house?
Yeah, having the faith and the trust that selling that house that we should not have been in, it was going to work out. And we didn't even know where we were going. Honestly. We didn't know where we were going to be living. We just knew we needed to trust. That was probably the hardest part. We needed to trust that we were going to end up where God ultimately wanted us to be and needed us to be. And sure enough, we ended up and landed exactly where he needed us to be, in the neighborhood we're in the town we're in, the home, the spot in the cul-de-sac we're on. I mean, moving there with 3 boys, now we got 4, and the proximity to the school that we were blessed to be part of, to be able to help start the school right down the street.
Yeah.
And now our finances now are like, how much can we give to the school? Like, how can we set ourselves up so we can give more to the school, lead with generosity as leaders of the school? How do we do that? And not only with our time, but like those are the things that drive us now. But the hardest part was definitely having the faith to say, wherever we're going to be is where God designed us to be. We took a pit stop in between, had to go somewhere for 4 or 5 months, and then we ended up in the place that he ultimately wanted us. But I think that was the hardest part.
I think it was, because I think there's this idea, false as it is, that once you get in alignment with God and do the thing he tells you to do, it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, smooth sailing. You hit that first storm, you're like, whoa, hold up.
You didn't tell me about this, God.
Lord. I've been traveling with you.
Right. Oh, you were in my boat. What's going on?
Exactly.
Is this one of those walk-on water moments? Like, what's going on?
Right.
And I think that's what made it difficult for us. We're like, okay, but we're doing the thing. I don't understand.
Right.
Why didn't the house sell?
Yeah.
We did all the right things. And so we had to circle back. All right, let's put it on the market again. That was painful the first time. Oh, boy, was that hard. Do it again.
Right.
And then the third time, do it again. We just had to keep going, just like the song says, right? Do it again.
Do it again.
And we kept building. We're like, you know what, God, we've seen you move mountains before. We believe you're going to do it again. We're going to keep going. And I think that was hardest for us, because sometimes when you are seemingly doing all the right things and you come up against these roadblocks, we're tempted to be like, God, why?
Yeah.
What? But what if he's testing your faith? And what if he's growing your faith?
Right.
And we want to know that there's this clearly mapped out plan, especially for planners like we are, right?
We are.
Right? I like my itinerary.
Girl,
I like all that
yes,
stuff.
honey.
Give me a label maker.
To-do list, to-be list, to process list. I'm just ready for my list.
But what if you don't have it? Again, many are the plans in a man's heart. God orders the steps.
Yeah.
Right.
So we wanted to know, all right, God, we'll sell this house, but where are we going? What's it going to be like? How many bedrooms? We wanted that.
Right.
It wasn't that. It was like that Abraham
Crickets.
moment, right? Set out for the place you're supposed to go, and I'll tell you when you get there. We're like, okay, well, just flapping in the breeze here, just freewheeling. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
And it could be daunting.
Well, there's 2 quick points. So one was, not only did we set out somewhere we had no idea where we were going, but even when we knew where we were going, there was so much resistance. The enemy had resistance and didn't want us to accomplish the goal God had for us. Even the day we were supposed to move out of that boat anchor house into the short-term house, the mover bails out on us. Tells us, it was raining this week. I couldn't get to my jobs. I can't move you today.
Oh.
Okay, so that's another enemy coming at you. So even though we thought we were going to get there were still obstacles we had to jump over. So friends jumped in. They all came. I rented a U-Haul, and we moved it ourselves.
Right.
That happened. But the one thing that I will say, one small thing that we did for years, like you said, cut out Time Warner cable, cut out all those things. We wanted to be able to go commit to and be consistent and disciplined to do date nights weekly.
Right.
Those date nights were usually, God, can we get a babysitter for $20 for 2 hours, so we can just go out and go for a hike. Go for a
Right.
hike at Francis Beatty Park. Walk
Right,
around there,
right.
so we could have a business meeting and talk through our plans for what
Right.
we were going to accomplish.
Right.
The first half of it was a business meeting about finances and family. Second half was, all right, let's just talk about whatever. But we made it consistent, and we were disciplined to not only have the goal, but we had to work it every week for years. Work that plan to say we weren't going to let something take us off, because we needed to be connected as a
Right.
couple.
Right.
If one of us was going off the rails and losing hope, then the other one had to bring them back on. Like,
Right.
we had a lot of those, years of that.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
wasn't just like, oh, we had a goal, it happened, oh, we're good. No, there was a lot of uncomfortable times when we just had to get out for an hour just to clear our head, to talk through, here's what we're facing today. Here's the goal we have.
Yeah.
How we doing financially? How we doing with our kids? How we doing spiritually? All those things had to be weekly discipline. Just like finances have to be disciplined on what you're spending. Your relationship has to be disciplined.
Yes.
Your pouring into your kids has to be disciplined and be intentional about that stuff. We had to
Yeah.
do it. So that was
Yeah.
all part of that mix too, because it was daunting. It was a daunting task.
I love it. Unfortunately,
Oh,
babe,
my gosh.
we're at that. To be respectful of everyone's time, we're
Ooh,
at that
wow.
point.
Guys, we are like at an hour and
Hour and 20 minutes,
an
actually.
hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Phew,
And
go
this is
fast,
why-
A
right?
lot of talking.
This is why I was excited
Yeah.
about having this conversation.
Yeah.
And when I say this, please hear my heart. The both of you guys are amazing individuals that are. Everyone needs a Jim and Renee in their life.
Yeah, I
To be
believe that.
honest,
I
and
believe
it
that.
and it has nothing to do with just the character of who you guys are and the joy and the light that you bring to
Yeah.
every situation that you're in. Everyone needs a Jim and Renee
Sis, I've known
because
you.
of just the I'm going to go back to the word, just the tenacity of I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know meeting this random woman off the internet site. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. I'm looking eye to eye. He said he was taller, but I'm looking eye to eye him right now. I don't know what this is going to look like,
Yeah,
but I'm going to go.
yeah.
God told me to go. And I'm going to start with the final thought, and then what we do is just final thoughts.
Yeah.
My final thought is just, if you don't learn anything else from this conversation, just go. When you hear from God, when you hear that voice, that still subtle voice, when you hear that, when you have, and God doesn't speak to everyone the same way. Some people He is really audible for. You will clearly hear God's voice in your ear. Some people you'll just get a tug, you'll get a notion, you'll get a feel. But when you get that feel and you get that voice, and you know is God,
Yeah.
just go.
Just go.
Because like you said, He told Abraham, just walk.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where to go when you get there. When I tell you you're there, you're there.
Turn left, turn right.
But just go.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do in life. Just go.
Just go.
So I'm gonna go to our guest. Jim, what's your final thought, my friend?
Final thoughts. First of all, thank you for having this, not just this conversation, but this journey with us, because you guys have been a big part of it. I mean, a huge part of it. Year after year, we know if we don't see you for 6 months, or whatever it is, we still get back to where we were when we met, and, and what
Exactly.
we all mean to each other.
Yeah.
Different, lifestyles, different
Yeah.
work, but we always come back to. We know where your heart is. We know
Yeah.
how much we love you guys, and we know
Yeah.
if this can make any impact, again, make our misery someone else's.
Yes.
Help make our misery our ministry. If it can help anybody navigate the waters,
Yeah.
I'm just blessed to be able to do that. I know we both are blessed to be able to do that, but we don't have all the answers. We don't want to pretend like this was all easy. We're not, high and mighty here. That's not us.
Right.
But we want people to know, have faith. There's a will, there's a way. Follow God's lead on everything. Listen to His
Yeah.
voice, and just do your best. Don't give up. Like
Yeah.
we won't give up. That's one
Yeah.
thing. We will not give up. And if it's fighting for our marriage, or fighting for our kids, or fighting for our finances, or whatever it is, we're going to fight.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everyone needs to do that, because the world's going to try to eat you up and spit you out.
Exactly.
So thank you for having us. Though.
Thank you. Yeah.
Miss Renee, what's your final thought for the family?
Gosh, I would say just thank you again, not just for walking this with us, but helping us work it out as we walked it, because everyone needs someone in their corner that's encouraging them along the way,
Yeah.
and telling them the exact opposite of what the world is screaming. And like you said, it's that still small voice. It might convict you. You might feel that little, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Tune into that voice.
Yeah.
Tune out all the other noise.
Right.
Whatever's on your radio, whatever's on your TV, tune it all out. Tune into that still small voice and just ask, Holy Spirit, show me.
Yeah.
He'll show you.
Yeah.
And once you see that thing that God is calling you to do, go after it with everything inside of you. Because what's on the other side of that is just so much more than you could have asked or imagined. It's worth everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I would just say, tune in and don't quit. Go for it. Just go. Like you said, just go. What do you have to lose? You have everything to gain.
Everything to gain.
What you got, babe?
My final thought, I think, out of everything that has really hit me hard is to keep going after the road to peace, right? I think peace is everything. It's so weird because my girlfriend, Angela, she texted me earlier today, so everything is always put together. But she said, you ever had those moments where it's that moment of just peace? There's nothing. It's just peace. And she was like, it was not. She's like, God is so good. And that's all she said to me. And so I texted her back and I was like, it's nothing, because we always want something to be something. We always want something to be going on. We want a reason to do something. But those times when there's just nothing and your peace, I need people to get comfortable with that. So my final thought is get comfortable with peace. Make peace mandatory in your life. Make peace your portion. Whatever you have to do to have a peace of mind, make it your portion. It is so important because at the end of the day, all this stuff will go away. Yeah. But that peace, that's the real deal right there. That is the real deal. So that's my final thought.
I love it. I really don't have anything else.
Me neither.
That's really my final thought.
This has been amazing. Family.
This has.
Whoo!
Family. This is,
oh my goodness.
This is an episode that you really need to listen to a couple of different times. Just don't listen to it once, because both between Jim and Renee just dropping nuggets after nuggets after nuggets. So please go back and listen to it multiple times. Family, first of all, we just thank you.
Thank you
because
so
we
much.
couldn't do this without you. We could not do this without your support, without your love, without your encouragement. So we just thank you, family.
Thank you so
Once
much,
again, whether
guys.
this is your first time listening or you've listened to all 180 some odd, which is crazy for me to say, but we really do 180 some odd episodes.
Woo!
For the last almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So family, we just thank you.
Thank you so much.
As always, however you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
As always, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials.
Come on now.
We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and the TikToks. My wife is going to post more videos on the TikTok, so stay with us, family.
On that, y'all.
And as always, you can always email us at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And before I sign off, I love you.
I love you, babe.
Understand that I cannot do this without you.
Thank you.
These last 22, almost 23 years have been the best years of my life.
Thank you.
And I know that, as you love to say sometimes, I'm not a jerk, but I got jerk tendencies. I appreciate you dealing with my jerk tendencies.
Thank you, baby.
So, and as always, family.
Yes, guys.
Welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.